Welcome. This is the Board of Education's 22nd Annual Presentation of Awards for Distinguished Service to Public Education. I am Shebra Evans, the President of the Montgomery County Board of Education, and I want to thank you all for being here this evening. Before we proceed with our ceremony, I wanted to introduce the talented Richard Montgomery Jazz Combo. Yes, give them a round of applause. The Jazz Combo performs around the area supporting local community and filling the world with beautiful music. The students were gracious enough to provide entertainment for us this evening, and we just want to thank them, and I want to recognize them. We have Elias Applebaum on the trumpet. We have Isaac Applebaum on the piano. We have Julian St. Dennis on the drums. Just glad they could be here with us this evening. I want to take a moment to recognize my colleagues and ask them to introduce themselves. We'll start right here to my immediate right.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out. I'm Jeanette Dixon, one of the two at-large members of the Board of Education. And isn't this a wonderful setup this evening? Yes, it really is. I have to praise our staff who did that, Danielle and I think Lana, and our new chief of staff, Lori Christina, and Becky over there as well. Thank you all so much. This looks just so wonderful, and I know it's made us all feel good. Thank you.
I can't say enough about what Jeanette just said, because we are thrilled to have you here and to have you comfortably seated with candlelight and all that stuff. But anyhow, I'm Judy Daca, and I represent District 1, which is Up County, and we're very happy to see all of you.
I'm Pat O'Neill, Vice President of the Board. I represent District 3. And I have to say, you know, this is my 20th year here, and I think 18 of the celebrations that I've been to, it rained on the evening of the Distinguished Service. So whatever date we pick next year, I can guarantee it'll rain.
Good evening. I'm Ananya Tadakonda, student member of the board. I'm a senior at Richard Montgomery High School, and I'm just coming up on the tail end of my term, which will end on June 30th.
Good evening. My name is Brenda Wolf, and I represent School District 5. I want to say welcome to everyone this evening. It's so great to see you, and everything worked out so well, regardless of the rain.
Mrs. Rebecca Smondrowski sends her regrets. She could not be here this evening. Her son Andrew is in the military, and he is being promoted. So she is in Georgia celebrating her son this evening. And then Mrs. Carla Silvestri, she's feeling a bit under the weather, and so she also wants to extend her congratulations to all the awardees tonight. I wanted to also recognize our special guests that are here. We have elected officials in the House today. We have Delegate Julie Palagovich Carr from District 17. We have, supposed to be with us, Delegate Jared Solomon from District 18. Oh, there you are, Jared, I see you. We have Delegate Pam Queen from District 14. Okay. So she'll be here shortly. And then we have Delegate Lily Q from District 15. We have former board members with us today. We have Mike Durso here today. We have Phil Kaufman here with us as well. And we have former student member of the board, David Neyman. Yes. And we have student member of the board-elect, Nate Tinbite. Yes. He is helping us with the awards this evening, so glad to have him here with us this evening. So tonight we will honor members of our community for their exemplary work on behalf of our students. To our 21 award recipients, we are happy that you are here, and we wish you a memorable evening. The program provides details about each awardee as shared by their nominator, In a moment, I will call upon board members to make presentations to our honorees, but I've left out a very special person who did not introduce himself, so I'm gonna go back to the dais and ask our superintendent to introduce himself.
Good evening. Thank you, Ms. Evans. It's a pleasure to be here. And it's really a joy. This is my third one of these events. And to look out and see so many friendly, committed, distinguished, serving faces in this group. It really is. It's a mark of Montgomery County, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. So board members will provide a few highlights about each awardee, and then each awardee will come up here and give remarks. And so we're just asking all the awardees to stay behind afterwards so we can take a group picture. So we will now begin presenting our 21 recipients, and I will at this time invite Ms. Wolf to come up to the podium.
Good evening again. I am pleased to present the first award of the evening. This awardee is a well-known face around Montgomery County and an advocate for not only the children in our public schools, but for all residents of District 2 as a member of the County Council. It is especially interesting to note that he was nominated by an MCPS student. A lifelong resident of Montgomery County, Councilmember Craig Rice attended Montgomery County Public Schools, graduating from Montgomery Blair High School. He was elected to the County Council in 2010, becoming the youngest African American to serve on the 9-member council and only the second African American male to serve in that role. Mr. Rice chairs the Council's Education and Culture Committee and serves on its Health and Human Services Committee. In addition, he serves as the Council's representative to the Maryland Association of Counties, MACO, in Annapolis. He chairs MACO's Education Subcommittee and is currently president of the MACO Diversity Caucus. In September 2016, Mr. Rice was named to the Maryland Commission on Innovation and Excellence in Education, also known as the Kirwan Commission. This commission led the first major review of education funding in the state since the Thornton Commission's review almost 2 decades ago. As a member of this prestigious commission, he provided leadership for increasing funding for full-day kindergarten in Montgomery County and in the state. Mr. Craig Rice's continued dedication to public education and his service to the community make him a deserving recipient of this award. I am pleased to ask Councilmember Craig Rice to come forward and accept this Community Individual Distinguished Service Award.
So I think they asked me to go first because I'm a politician and I'm going to take up all the time. No, seriously, actually tonight I unfortunately have to leave immediately after this because many who know me know that I oftentimes volunteer my time to help out other nonprofits, and I'm actually going to be emceeing the Montgomery County Coalition for the Homeless Gala in a few moments. So I'm going to have to leave out of here early, so I apologize to all of the other awardees, but want to extend my thanks and gratitude to each and every one of you for caring so much about something that means a lot to me. I didn't think this was going to happen, but it's all Miss Moore's fault. I didn't expect to come here this evening and see one of my elementary school teachers. And Ms. Moore from Belpre Elementary knows all too well that as a young child, you never know what you're going to end up being. You always have these bright ideas about what it is that you want to become, and even in college, I never thought that I'd be in elected office. But I did know one thing. You know, my mom and dad, who came from the rural South, who were trying to escape persecution there and some of the challenges regarding discrimination that they saw, knew that Montgomery County was a welcoming place in which they knew that their son would be able to do and accomplish whatever it is that he wanted to do. Fast forward to today, where I am one of 9 people leading this county, the county that I was born and raised in. It's surreal. And to see leaders who cared about me along the way, who helped me on that pathway, is also equally surreal. It's interesting because I always tell the story about how Judy Daka, who was my assistant principal at Montgomery Blair High School, and I get to work together all the time. Again, very surreal. You don't think about these things coming, but what's most important is that I deeply care about education. It is truly the most important function of government. And I hope and I know that I'm not getting this award because I believe in full funding of education, but because I firmly at my core believe that education is owed to every single one of our constituents here in Montgomery County. What is also owed is tremendous thanks to the men and women in our schools each and every day who are providing the opportunities for young men and women like myself to be whatever it is that we want to be. You are inspiring. You truly make a difference in terms of ensuring that we have the ability to succeed. We highlight and lift up great examples like our Teacher of the Year, Maddie Hannington, who I had a chance to celebrate with at Black Rock. But the reality is that she's a representative of what we see each and every day inside of every single one of our schools. Every day the work is being done. People are rolling up their sleeves and working really hard to make sure that people have a chance. And I just want to thank God for each and every one of you who continue to roll up your sleeves to make sure that people like me have a chance to become whatever it is. And I promise you, I won't forget how I got here. And it's because of people in this room and people like you in this room. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to be a little bit out of order, but I want to say that Mr. Rice has always been an outstanding person and an outstanding student, and he was never sent to the office. All right, Oscar Alvarenga and Sarahi Segura. This award, this is out of order, I'm sorry. I hope you can find it. This award is one of my favorite. It is the School Service Volunteer Distinguished Service Award. I'm delighted to present it to what nominators have called a dynamic duo of Mr. Oscar Alvarenga and his wife, Ms. Sarahi Segura, described as breathing a new sense of pride into Summit Hall Elementary School. Mr. Alvarenga and Ms. Segura are the epitome of tireless, dedicated advocates for MCPS students, staff, and families. Mr. Alvarenga attended Summit Elementary School himself as a student. A fact he used to great effect as he's a devoted advocate for getting 2 outbuildings constructed outside the walls of the beloved school, replacing several portables, one of which housed him when he was a student there. Mr. Alvarenga and Ms. Segura constantly have gone the extra mile over the years to make sure the students at Summit Hall Elementary School have the best events and all services possible. They have been responsible for the staging of special shows, produced, sponsored, written, and coordinated by students and their families. Free professional tennis, professional tennis clinics, color runs, and just about every sort of event possible to make sure each and every student at the school feels cared for and special. They are fixtures at the school. The students, teachers, staff, and community all love them. They are there for each and every student of their school. When the furniture in the staff lounge was fit for kindling and the walls became dull, Hurricane Alvarenga and Segura went to work. With the help of a few others, they spruced the lounge up into a showplace of respite and rejuvenation for the educators, and they need it. When the National Book Festival was in full swing in Washington, D.C., Mr. Alvarenga wanted some of his Summit Hall elementary students to have an opportunity to attend. So in inimitable Alvarenga fashion, he convinced the city of Gaithersburg to find a bus to take some of the students downtown on a weekend to enjoy a day of this wonderful salute to reading. Described as two of the finest examples of selfless devotion and dedication to their community, I'm honored to invite Mr. Oscar Alvarenga and Ms. Sarahi Segura to the podium to accept the School Service Volunteer Distinguished Service Award. Oh, and they may tell you this, but they have a family event for their son, so that's why it's out of order and they're here now. So we thank them so much. Okay, I'm out of your way. Oh, photo. Yes. Oh, okay. Yes.
Muchas gracias a todos por esta noche. She's going to translate, all right? Don't worry. No, I just wanted to say quickly thank you to everybody. One of the things that we always want people to know is that we do work full-time. We do have a family. We do go to church. We do have our own personal lives. But one of the things that we're committed to is our community. One of the things that we find energy every single day is what event are we going to go participate in today. Everybody doing their part makes a big difference. And it just takes a few people sometimes to spark that motivation in others to say, you know what, we can do this too. And we just like to thank, well, we can't thank everybody, but thank all the mentors that we've had along the way. I know Paul Geller has been a big mentor for me. I'd like to thank him. I see him here. He was one of the inspirations that I had when I first heard of the PTA. I couldn't even spell the PTA. And he was one of the people that took me under his wing and says, you know what, if we can do it out here, you guys can do it out there. And so we're just thankful to the board and to everybody else that has been part of this journey. We don't only help at Summit Hall, even though that is our base school. We also help out a lot at Forest Oak Middle School and at Gaithersburg High School. So we're busy in multiple schools, and we're just thankful for this opportunity. So again, to anybody out there that says, I don't have time, you just have to find a spot for them. And for the Latinos out there that sometimes feel like language is a barrier, it's not, because my English is sometimes not that pretty, okay? And my Spanish, sometimes I'm like, how do you say that in Spanish? We figure it out, and we make it work, right? So there's no excuse. There's always an opportunity for everybody, and each school hopefully keeps that door open to allow parents to come in and to express what they feel in a positive way to make the school better for everybody. I'll let have my wife say some words.
We just want to say thank you so much for this award, and we accept it very humbly. We also would like to thank our 3 boys. Say
Stand
hi.
up, boys.
Stand up. They are, really do deserve that applause. We come across so many parents that are like, how do you get your kids to work? How do you get them, and they are willing to help. They're the first at every event. They're the last to leave. They never fight us. They love to help. One thing that we install in them and all the children that we get to work with is that You have to decide what you want to be in life to bring money in, and then what are you going to do for society? And that's really who you got to really think of, what you're going to do. And a lot of the kids ask us like, oh, you work at this school? We're like, no, we like to help out. We like to volunteer. And we definitely always encourage them to do the same. But thank you so much. And thank you to our boys.
Muchas gracias.
The next award in the community individual category goes to a woman who has single-handedly changed students' experiences with engaging construction projects. Ms. Romina Bird is the Director of Training Education with Long and Foster Company. Ms. Bird has been instrumental in establishing and strengthening Miller and Long's partnership with the Montgomery County Students Construction Trades Foundation. As a key player in the CTF Advisory Board, Ms. Beard helps to guide the curriculum, equipment, and materials needed for a successful construction education program in MCPS. One of Ms. Bird's most recent accomplishments included arranging the donation of foundation work for the 42nd Young American Student Design and Student Built Home. In order to expedite the house project, Ms. Bird secured the donation of concrete, labor, materials, and equipment from Miller and Long Company, Inc. Ms. Bird has an unrivaled passion for promoting construction education through local school districts. Through her advocacy, drive, and talent, Ms. Bird has been an active leader in the Construction Trades Foundation and MCPS and has replicated the partnership in surrounding districts. Ms. Romina Bird's commitment and hard work with MCPS students and the construction community make her most deserving of this award, and I am delighted to invite her up to accept her Community Individual Distinguished Service Award. Is it Bird? Is it Bird? Congratulations. This is for you.
All right, it's Bird, so you all know. I am very humbled to receive this award among so many incredible individuals tonight and those that have received awards in the past for all their contribution. Thank you to the Board of Education, Steve Bowden, Larry Schulman, all my mentors, Mark Drury, Miller and Long Concrete Construction, and Brett McMahon for the opportunity to support and demonstrate my commitment to MCPS students and to support the hands-on learning opportunities at Thomas Edison and soon at Seneca Valley that prepare our students with the skills needed for today's workforce. I want to thank my biggest supporter, husband, talented musician, who has patience and never complains when I tell him I've joined another committee or another board. To my daughters, Sophia and Mia, you can stand up if you'd like, who teach me every day what new technology I need to learn and are always willing to ask questions and learn about anything. I am grateful to be able to volunteer at their school as well and chaperone the outdoor education program, but I need a little time before I do that again. Bless all the teachers and all they do out there. You're incredible. Thank you to my courageous mother who immigrated here to the United States from Bolivia over 40 years ago and brought my sister and me in tow, raising us as a single working mother and instilled in us humility, grit, a strong work ethic, and compassion to serve others. Our work is not done, but we have an incredible team of MCPS staff, volunteers, parents, and businesses to collaborate and support the students of Montgomery County. I am honored to be a part of this community. Thank you.
The third awardee in the community individual category is not only a champion for children, but for parents as well. Mr. Byron Johns became the chair of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP Parents Council in 2011, and has transformed it into one of the most influential organizations in our community. He has inspired and empowered parents of color. Mr. Johns has demonstrated the importance of advocacy by example. He has taught parents of color the importance of being involved in their children's education while supporting them and teaching them how to be the best advocates for their children. Mr. Johns has created a dialogue with local, national, and global leaders in education on priority topics impacting communities of color. The impact of Mr. Johns' work has been to shine a bright light on issues of equity, the need to diversify the staff of MCPS, the improvement of cultural competency, of the cultural competency of all who work for MCPS, and the development of strategies to eliminate the achievement opportunity gap. Mr. Johns' work as president of the NAACP Parents Council has made a tremendous difference in the education of students of color. He is an outstanding role model, not only for students of color, but for all students and parents. He demonstrates how high expectations, hard work, and educating the community about the education of students ensures that all students receive a world-class education. He is more than deserving of the recognition that will come with the Distinguished Service Award to Public Education for his advocacy and selfless dedication to the students and parents of Montgomery County. And I am thrilled to invite him up to accept his Community Individual Award.
Well, good evening, and thank you for the recognition and the honor. And I just want to also thank all of the people who, for many years, carried the Parents Council on. It's been over 20 years. We moved here 16 years ago, and it has been just a joy to be able to give back through the community, through the service of the NAACP and the Parents Council. First and foremost, I want to also thank my wife, who has traveled with me for 28 years. I drug her out of New York. We've lived in Australia, we've lived in Brazil, we've all over the world. And when I thought back on this, her grit through the challenges of growing up and through my own personal experience really have enlightened the value of the just transformative value of education. What each of us has accomplished on our own and what we've done together with our kids was only made possible through the investment of teachers and mentors and people in our community that we never get to recognize. So it's really just an honor to be able to carry that forward and to help others with that. We have 2 children in college, and we have tried to instill in them that being part of a community and giving to others in service of others, there is no greater call in life than doing that. We are thankful for the people. Linda Plummer's here. Linda was actually the person has started the Parents Council and has kept it going, and the NAACP here in this county is vibrant, largely because of Linda's work. I also wanted to recognize Sabrina McMillan, who has been a partner for the 10 years here. Sabrina's trying to leave the county because her last child just is about to graduate. I'm not letting it happen. She's been a strategic partner in just making, understanding and working with the schools, working with kids, right up through working with the board members. So there are many others to thank along that way. Certainly board members, prior and current, have been just tremendous inspiration. I also want to say I was part of Jack Smith's interview panel and selection, and it was one of the best selections I think we could have ever made for the county. And I think what he's done with this equity accountability work is going to far surpass all of us in terms of its benefit long-term for the equity we all have been seeking. So thank you again for this honor, and I look forward to continuing the work.
The next award in the Community Individual category goes to Ms. Priscilla Fritter Peterson, the Cultural Arts Chair for the Maryland County Council of for the Montgomery County Council of Parent-Teacher Associations for the past 11 years. Ms. Peterson has made it her life's mission to bring the arts to all kids. She is an artist with a lengthy and distinguished career as an accomplished musician. She was a principal flautist with the Kennedy Center Opera House Orchestra. Ms. Peterson also has served on the Superintendent's Committee for Performances in MCPS for more than 20 years. Thanks to her efforts, MCPS has talented individuals that bring live musical performances, exotic animals, magicians with positive messages, and hundreds of other creative talents right to the doorsteps of our schools. Many of our students are very, very, very passionate about the arts, but the arts are something that can be difficult for some families to have their kids participate in outside of school. So it's profoundly impactful, the work that Ms. Peterson has done. She has changed the cultural arts landscape in MCPS, and I am proud to invite her forward to accept her Community Individual Distinguished Service Award.
Volunteering in the field of cultural arts for Montgomery County Public Schools has been a natural fit for me and a cause near and dear to my heart. I am lucky to be a product of MCPS myself. Playing flute in the Montgomery Blair High School Band and in the Montgomery County Youth Orchestra was my stepping stone to attending the Oberlin Conservatory of Music and then becoming a professional musician. During the years that I was principal flutist of the Kennedy Center Opera House Orchestra, I began offering to help with the cultural arts programming at my own children's schools in the Bethesda-Chevy Chase cluster. One thing led to another, and in 2008, I was asked to serve as chair of cultural arts for the MCCPTA. I said yes, but warned them that my youngest child was then a senior in high school, so I would only be able to do the job for 1 year. Or so I thought. I soon found out there's no rule against volunteering for the schools, whether you have children currently attending them or not. Helping to bring professional performing artists into our schools for workshops, assemblies, and artist-in-residence programs is important to me because I know that an early exposure to the arts is critically important in children's development of creativity and imagination, which carries over into all aspects of their education. Some see art as an elective or something that's just for fun. They see it as something that can be easily cut from schools' budgets. Yet others, like myself, see the arts as vital, irreplaceable, and one of the most important aspects of our culture and humanity. Experiencing art, whether as a creator or as an observer, brings great joy and pleasure. But the arts are not just a luxury. They are an instinct within us that enable us to express our joys, our sorrows, our curiosities, and help to shape our identities. Music, art, dance, storytelling, and theater speak to us in any language, or even without language. They represent our cultures and heritage, and are a connection between all of us that build community, heal our divisions, and have the potential to unify us at a time when that is sorely needed. I have appreciated having the opportunity to give back to MCPS, doing something that has become my passion, and I thank you for this award.
Before I read about the next awardee, I wanted to recognize Delegate Gabe Acevero, representing District 39. He has joined us. Thank you for being here. The final award for Community Individual is for Miss Kimberly Summers. Ms. Summers has served on the Parent-Teacher Student Association Board at Sparks M. Matsunaga Elementary School, Kingsview Middle School, and Northwest High School. At Matsunaga, Ms. Summers raised more than $35,000 for school improvements by organizing her team of volunteers for various fundraising endeavors. She and her team started an annual silent auction that followed her from Matsunaga to Kingsview Middle School and now to Northwest High School. At Kingsview Middle School, she continued her excellent work by introducing several whole school events that have since become annual traditions. At Northwest High School, Ms. Summers took on the role of PTSA president when her second son was a freshman. Not only has the PTSA worked to beautify the school, but she has also led the charge to raise money for even more school improvements. Furthermore, she recognized that it's important to empower students in improving their school, so she started a JAG Pride Club to build school spirit, help with school improvements, and provide meaningful leadership opportunities for students. To say that she has a lasting impact on the lives of thousands of students and families is an understatement. Ms. Kim Summers is truly a servant leader who thrives off of opportunities to make her community a better place. I am delighted to invite Ms. Kimberly Summers forward to accept her Community Individual Distinguished Service Award.
Thank you so much to the Board of Education for this recognition. None of us here volunteer or work for acknowledgement. Everything we do is for the kids and because we have a passion for our schools. I'm honored to serve my community and hope that small acts make a difference to someone. I'd like to thank my principals, Judy Brubaker and Jimmy DeAndrea, who I'm proud to call mentors and now friends. I'd also like to thank the hundreds of parents along the way who've helped me do everything. You guys all know it takes teams of people to accomplish anything. Thank you again for this honor.
I have the honor of presenting the Community Group Distinguished Award to the Partnership for Excellence. Originally a group of community advocates and service providers called the Scotland Excellence Group. Partnership for Excellence has been part of the community for the last 2 decades. They have worked together with community providers, school personnel, and families to develop plans and supports for the Scotland community and underserved portions of the larger Potomac community. This partnership has helped highlight information and consolidate the support for underserved children and families by sharing resources and aligning the work of a variety of groups so that together they can make a bigger difference in the lives of students and families. Specifically, the Partnership for Excellence has coordinated and promoted information campaigns, after-school and summer programs, and tutoring for students. They have helped the community to identify needs and advocate for the specific needs of the families and community to the wider county government and service providers. Their tireless devotion to public education and the Montgomery County community make them a deserving choice for the Distinguished Service Community Group Award. I am honored to invite Ronald Martin, Center Director for the Partnership for Excellence, up to the podium to accept this award.
I'm Judy Bankhead. I'm a pupil personnel worker and proud of it. And I see that Donna Hollins had this year, and for some reason she allowed me to do things that I could ask for forgiveness for later. I moved here from La Maddalena, Italy, my husband being a Navy chaplain, so I didn't know the rules, which helped. All I knew was we had a community where 87% of the expulsions are discipline problems, and the low grades and low attendance. I said we have to do something about this. The Partnership for Excellence was started 2 years before I came, but they were almost in a defunct position at that time. So I said, let's talk to the community, see what we can do. There's a church that's right next to the community, and they had a pastor who was very interested, and I found that the children who were having the issues were members of his congregation. So we decided if a child is suspended, before they come back to school, they had to meet with the pastor, and he was going to give them some directions. I didn't know that it was not a good idea. So I talked with the teachers, and by the way, this is Bell's Mill, Cabin John, and Churchill. The principals were all on the board. So I talked with the teachers, and the teachers said, we'll volunteer and come over and tutor after school. I thought, that's a great idea. And then we had a pupil personnel worker who was also, what do you call it? They had a band, they marched in the, help me with this, the cherry blossom. Our little Partnership for Excellence had a whole group. They marched in the cherry blossom parade. The whole idea was to build self-esteem and make connections with the community. I'm proud to say that today, rather than having 87% of our discipline issues come, we have no children from that area who've been disciplined at least this year. So I'm very proud of that, and we could not have done that without the cooperation from the community. It's not just the school. Suburban Hospital was involved. We had the police involved. We had the fire department. And now we have a new director, Ron, who's helped us move even into a more full direction.
Yes. Thank you guys for giving us this award and the opportunity to come out tonight. Through what Judith Bankhead was saying and all of the principals in Churchill Cluster Schools, we've been able to add on programs such as gardening, cooking. We've added recently a hiking and a walking trail to access Cabin John Creek so that the new renovations in the homes in the community can all be accented with a new center and a new park situation. I wanted to quickly acknowledge Elizabeth McLeod. She's retired Silver Spring Region Manager for the Recreation Department, who I learned pretty much all of my partnership skills from. So thank you for coming.
And I also wanted to acknowledge really quickly Scotland Staff of the Year, Mrs. Asma Self-Eldine. She has a few words for you.
Good evening, everybody. I grew up in the Scotland community and I still live there. Now I have 2 children of my own. With partnership with Ronald, we have built scholarship opportunities for the children, as well as everybody that's graduating from Churchill this year. All of our seniors will be attending college next year.
Thank you. We really do appreciate this recognition.
The next award is for a business that has supported and devoted themselves to the Montgomery County Public Schools community. I am honored and delighted to present this award to Ms. Carol Trawick. She is a positive driving force in supporting the success of underrepresented youth by providing unique opportunities for MCPS schools. The Jim and Carol Trawick Foundation has provided multiple schools with grant funding for schools to partner with nonprofit organizations to create experiences based on the needs of the students. Ms. Trawick has a vision of how to support the whole school community and works closely with principals to ensure that MCPS creates programs that are accountable for student success. Most recently, Ms. Trawick's foundation has provided opportunities to Parkland Middle School. She partnered with Kid Museum, Passion for Learning, and AFI Theater. All Parkland Middle School students were afforded the opportunity to see a film at AFI Theater that is connected to their grade level science courses. Trawick's support allowed the school to invite families in the evening to watch a film and to hear from speakers about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEAM. Furthermore, the Trawick Foundation assists local health and human services and arts nonprofit organizations. The foundation awards grants for specific projects that will make a demonstrable impact on the local community by reaching people in need and encouraging and sustaining creative activities. Ms. Trawick is a visionary, and her support transcends beyond the school building and truly makes a difference in the lives and the futures of MCPS students and the school community. The lives that she has touched directly and indirectly is helping all underserved student populations throughout MCPS. She is an exceptional individual that is committed to supporting the success of all students in MCPS. She is truly a pioneer in offering grants to schools and giving them the autonomy to work with nonprofit organizations to provide unique opportunities for their students. For all of these reasons and more, I am excited to present the Business Distinguished Service Award to Ms. Carol Trawick.
Since you ran for office the first time.
I know. Thanks. I meant to see my friend, Carol Trawick.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, really, to include me in this outstanding group. Let's give everybody a big hand of all of those awardees. If the truth be known, Anne and my executive director of the Trawick Foundation and I really believe that we're the privileged ones to be working with this exceptional school district. And it is exceptional for the biggest reason, because it's stuffed full, no, it's over brimming, Dr. Smith,
with really superior professionals. And they're really exceptional professionals building this exceptional school system because they have one focus, and that is helping every child in every way possible to be the best they can be. And since you've got this overflowing, wonderful staff, I'd be remiss if I tried to mention all the schools we're in and all those people. But I do want to mention two, and that is the STEM program, which is a pilot that we are working to develop so it's replicable across every 7th grader. That's 10,000 in the county over a half a dozen years or so. But the other one is really also topical. Oh, that Parkland is under the leadership of Principal Connie Yang. The other pilot is really what everybody's talking about, and that is trauma. And after 4 years at Gaithersburg Middle School, under the leadership of Ann Dolan, we are working on, again, a replicable project that uses sources of strength and trauma-informed care to help Dr. Bryce with his PSP program, and it can be replicated across. So we thank you so much for letting us work as your partner. Thank you.
I am pleased to present the first Montgomery County Public Schools Staff Distinguished Service Award to Ms. Shanetta Anderson. Ms. Anderson is one of the unsung heroes behind the strong Student Government Association at Neillsville Middle School. She has used this role to teach students the power of their voices by being a strong advocate and using her own voice effectively. Mrs. Anderson is constantly recognizing students and staff. She has implemented a Teacher of the Month program at Neillsville Middle School to recognize staff for their hard work. She creates events to bring the community into the school building, like a Safe Night In, a trick-or-treat event, and she is an equity warrior. Ms. Anderson works extremely hard for the staff and students. She builds great relationships and wants the best for everyone. Now, another really good example of what I saw Ms. Anderson put into action at Neillsville Middle School is the student government students when they attend conferences and conventions and they want to dress professionally. But Ms. Anderson is extremely empathetic, thoughtful, and she's very cognizant of the population she serves. And she knows that, some of these students may not be expressing it, but they may not have access to professional clothing. So she started a drive and a closet, kind of, at Neillsville Middle School, and the students can come to her and just say, Ms. Anderson, I want to dress up, but I don't have the access at home. Can I have something from the closet? And she provides them with that. So really, really an active effort. She professionally and respectfully gets the job done. Her staff and school families know they can depend on her. Ms. Shanetta Anderson is most deserving of this award and all the recognition and celebration that comes with it. And I am pleased to invite her to the podium to accept her MCPS Staff Distinguished Service Award.
Okay, thank you. I am super nervous, but I talk in front of kids like it's nothing. I don't know what is going on right now. Okay, So I put my speech on my phone, even though my dad's like, why is it not on paper? But it's 2019, so it's on my phone. All right, so thank you so much. This is truly an honor. First, I want to thank God for keeping me and constantly giving me the strength to persevere during the difficult times. Thank you to my family, over there, for always encouraging me and reminding me that my efforts aren't going unnoticed. And thank you to the Board of Education for recognizing all of us who may or may not have been recognized otherwise. So I'm not going to make this long, but I want to make it clear that I chose Neelsville. When I told people I was going there, they thought I was crazy. They warned me to stay away, but I chose it. I knew that the building was old. I knew that I'd be dealing with middle schoolers who act like middle schoolers. But I also saw me when I saw the students. I did not have the privilege of going to Neelsville. When we moved to Montgomery County, I went to MLK, which is the newer version of Neelsville, and I graduated from Seneca Valley, 05. But I do feel that going to Seneca, I kind of still got the Neelsville experience. If you look at their buildings, they're pretty much the same. So in doing so, I wanted to make sure that not only did I teach the students, but I was able to reach the students. And that's very important. I want to make sure that I reach every single student that I come in contact with. Because you see, there's power in just knowing their names. There's power in taking the time to pronounce it correctly. And there's power in building relationships and making a school a safe place to be. There's power in taking the time to learn about the students and incorporating their interests into their learning. Teaching is power. I would like to thank some of my biggest teachers here within MCPS. I know they're not here tonight, but Ms. Khadijah Barkley for showing me what being a powerful African-American leader in education looks like when I walked through the doors of Seneca Valley in 2002. And for still being there for me to this day. And to Dr. Melissa Brunson for being my guiding light when I began my teaching career. I strive to be an administrator like you one day. Thank you all for what you've taught me and will continue to teach me throughout my career. Again, Board of Education, I thank you. I am truly grateful and forever honored. I don't do what I do for accolades, but it's definitely nice to receive an applause sometimes. My goal has always been to just be a teacher that they always remember. Have a great evening and thank you.
Our next awardee is also a member of Montgomery County Public Schools staff. Ms. Sarah Philman assumed the role of the Communication Arts Program CAP coordinator at Montgomery Blair High School. I knew that was coming in 2014. Since then, she has instituted a variety of reforms to CAP that have helped diversify the student body, improve the interdisciplinary nature of the program, and help build a small learning community in which students and teachers are working together to ensure a school experience defined by a sense of civic purpose, communal belonging, and academic achievement. Ms. Philman has embraced MCPS's initiative to close the racial achievement gap by recognizing the need to cast a wider net so that more middle school students, especially those who are not attending middle schools with test-in special programs, are familiar with the CAP program application process and know that if they are admitted, they will find a supportive community of their peers. It is with this spirit that Ms. Philman embraced Black CAP, which seeks to both diversify test-in magnet programs and offer supportive spaces for students of color in special programs. She coordinated efforts with them to help promote the CAP in schools that traditionally had not provided many students for the CAP program. She encouraged them to offer academic support for ambitious students of color with hopes of gaining acceptance to a magnet program at the middle school level. In doing so, the culture of the CAP became one of that recognized the need to diversify, but also embraced that need by supporting a community of students who sought to ensure students of color who might otherwise feel isolated were offered a sense of belonging and support. The students who complete a CAP certificate undoubtedly have an elevated sense of civic altruism, an unwavering commitment to seeking out and understanding diverse perspectives, and a solid academic foundation. For many of them, this is due to the hard work of Ms. Philman, and I am honored to invite her up to the podium to accept the MCPS Staff Distinguished Service Award.
Thank you so much, Board of Education. Thank you to Mark Grossman for the nomination, and also to our principal at Blair, Renee Johnson, for always supporting her staff, teachers, and students, and encouraging us all to be innovative and to take risks. I'm humbled to be honored tonight, and I am so thankful for my 15 years at Blair High School. It's the only high school at which I've worked, and also the best. I've grown as a leader of the Communication Arts program in these past 5 years, and thanks to the amazing Equity and Excellence in Education program through McDaniel College, my work as a leader of the application program has focused on making our educational opportunities in CAP more available for all students in our feeder schools, not just those already in middle school magnet programs. While we still have a long way to go, I am a firm believer that all of those who want to achieve can achieve. Thank you.
For the two awardees that I'm going to award, I just wanted you to know I'm not going to hug you because my Surtec is failing me right now. So I don't want you to hopefully get anything. So our next Montgomery County Public Schools Staff Distinguished Award is for Miss Taylor Garber. We know that for many students, it is the individual attention they feel from a teacher that can make a difference in their academic success. For many of our students at Ashburton Elementary School, Miss Garber is that person. Miss Garber runs an after-school club twice a week for underprivileged students, runs mentoring programs among staff, and continuously builds strong relationships with MCPS's hardest to reach students. Ms. Garber cares so deeply for her students that she even has individualized handshakes with each of her mentees. These daily efforts by Ms. Garber are immensely powerful for students' well-being. Last year, Ms. Garber started Homework Club twice a week for students who need more structure outside of school. Students have snacks, homework help, and extra recess. They also are provided with small group supplemental homework support by Ms. Garber and other teachers on any academic area a student may need. Furthermore, Ms. Garber has organized middle schoolers to come volunteer to read to younger students each homework club, allowing the student to create lasting relationships with one another and many of these students are now making strides socially, emotionally, and academically. Ms. Garber's passionate commitment and dedication to our students is above and beyond her responsibilities, and we are pleased to honor her tonight. Ms. Garber, please come up to the podium and accept your MCPS Staff Distinguished Service Award.
Okay, sorry. I did not know that speeches were required, so I'm gonna wing this and hope that I do a good job. I just wanna start off by saying thank you to Glenda Griffith, who nominated me. I am truly humbled by this award, and as parents of the kids that I work with, teachers and family members were saying that I deserved this, I just was like, why? Why do I deserve this award? All I'm doing is what I think is right and what I think the kids deserve. I truly believe that kids, if they don't come into school with a smile on their face, they need to be leaving school with a smile on their face. And I try to do everything possible for them in order to make them feel safe at school and feel like they can go out and make a difference in their lives and become better human beings. This year I helped match over 120 students with mentees at our school. We have a school of 920 kids. And I personally mentor 13 of them, as well as work with 30 of them after school twice a week. And Tuesdays and Thursdays are honestly the highlight of my week. I start after school doing 30 different handshakes, help kids with homework, help them with social emotional development, and there's nothing else I'd rather be doing. I'm new to making a difference, as everyone here is so inspirational and has been making a difference for 10 plus years, and I'm excited to continue doing what I'm doing and hopefully be able to make a difference as long as everybody here has been. So thank you.
Mrs. Randy Gritz was described by her nominator as the personification of kindness. As the recipient of our next Montgomery County Public Schools Staff Distinguished Service Award, I am honored to tell you a little more about Mrs. Gritz. For the past 6 years, she has run a program to provide bags of food to low-income students every Friday so that they do not have to worry about food during the weekends. During the holidays, she creates baskets of goods and drops them off at families' houses. Her insight into the need for this program and her passion in implementing the program undoubtedly shows her compassion and caring for all students. These students are better able to learn and focus on their schoolwork because they are not worried about what they are going to eat. Her kindness and thoughtful efforts support these students, improve their lives, and makes MCPS a better place. Mrs. Gritz embodies the values of these awards and reminds us all of the difference one person can make. I am honored to invite Mrs. Gritz up to the podium to accept her MCPS Staff Distinguished Service Award.
I wasn't ready to give a speech either, but here we go. I'm so honored to be here. It feels great to be with so many amazing people doing things and loving the kids. I am overly passionate about my job and my school, and I love who I work with and my principal and my team. But work is play for me. And I was a knucklehead. My kids were knuckleheads, and when I got the envelope for Board of Education, and it wasn't because somebody was in trouble. It was like, yes, it's okay. But because I was that kid and my kids were that kid, I want them to feel safe every day and feel loved.
And if nobody told them they loved them that day, I'm going to tell them. I'm going to make going to school a great place to be. And I feel lucky. I'm lucky to have that job. Thanks for listening.
The next Montgomery County Public Schools Distinguished Staff Award is for another individual who has dedicated her time and resources to helping some of the most impacted and vulnerable students in our community. Ms. Elizabeth Narden works in the school community-based program. As many educators do, Ms. Narden arrives early and stays late, not just to plan, but to support her students in almost every way imaginable. Helping students off the bus, supporting parents, and doing everything in her power to make sure our students learn the basic life skills they need once they complete their schooling. However, Ms. Narden does not stop there. She is constantly thinking of ways to help the families by connecting them with adults, agencies, and services. In 2016, she co-founded the Green Fork Salad Company, an in-school job skills class where students with special needs work on important life and job skills, including grocery shopping, basic food preparation, customer service, and cleaning skills. This program has now served more than 2,000 salads, soups, sandwiches to staff at Gaithersburg High School. Ms. Narden consistently goes above and beyond for her students. While at Watkins Mill High School, she and her Living for Independence students started a GoFundMe campaign to get a power chair for one of her students. She has maintained a good relationship with the family of another student who had been at Gaithersburg High School for a brief while before needing a more restricted placement due to his disability. When she heard there were openings for a residential adult program, she worked with the family to get them connected. Now this former student is thriving. She is an outstanding educator, an outspoken advocate, and an incredible believer that all students can succeed, and most deserving of this prestigious award. With that, I am honored to invite Ms. Narden up to the podium to accept the MCPS Staff Distinguished Service Award.
It's a lot harder to come up here than teaching in the class, for sure. So you know when you have an awesome job when your friends that you work with every day literally are family. Literally family. Thank you guys for all the support and love. And I mean, none of us here, we all know that we can't do what we do without awesome colleagues, which are literally family. I just want to remind everyone how lucky we are, because I always say that the kids that all of us work with every day, that the parents trust us with their most prized gift in the world, and they trust us with that gift every day, and we're just so lucky to be part of that gift every day. Thank you.
Sarah Newbold, being accepted by Ronald Kobler, our next recipient of the Montgomery County Public Schools Staff Distinguished Service Award. Ms. Sarah Dolphus Newbold is another shining example of how lucky we are here in MCPS. Ms. Newbold has been a visual arts educator in MCPS since 2002 and currently serves as the MCPS Fine Arts Content Specialist. She supports over 500 pre-K to 12 visual arts, theater, and dance teachers across the district. Ms. Newbold is a committed advocate for equitable access to high-quality education through the fine arts for all students. She believes the fine arts are essential ingredient for the human spirit because every culture in the world uses the arts as a means of expression. As an art educator, Ms. Newbold has diligently to build programs that balance the study of arts and cultures, aesthetics, and critique with creating and performing. As an instructional leader, she encouraged other art educators to plan instructional units reflecting content that is contemporary, culturally responsive, relevant, and meaningful to our students. As an experienced educator, she still actively seeks out opportunities to think beyond the art room, the fine arts office, and the district, making connections across contents, across Maryland, and across the nation. Ms. Newbold seeks opportunities to display student artwork in highly visible locations across the county, state, and nationally, including all of the beautiful artwork you see in here today. She works closely with the MCPS Visual Arts Center back at Einstein High School, and during the past 3 years has streamlined the application process. As a result, the program has the capacity to access more students in a shorter amount of time. Every spring, she provides verbal and written feedback to VAC students after participating in their senior art show critique. For MCPS students, the fine arts play a unique role in their education because they allow each individual to express his or her personal voice, yet at the same time speak a language known to all. Ms. Newbold has been a leader in promoting the fine arts as a pathway to academic excellence, creative problem solving, and social and emotional learning. Unfortunately, Ms. Newbold could not be with us here tonight, but she has an emissary, and I am pleased to ask Mr. Ronald Kobler to come up and accept the award for Distinguished Service for MCPS staff for Ms. Sarah Newbold. Congratulations. Let's see, we're going to try.
Good evening, members of the board and distinguished guests. Sarah's very sorry she was unable to attend tonight. She's actually turning 40 and she's on a family vacation, so she has a lot more to celebrate now. I'm going to channel her and relay some remarks. It means so much to be nominated and to be considered distinguished by teachers I admire so much. I promise that I will continue to do my very best to support you and your students each and every day. After 17 years in education, I've seen many initiatives come and go. The pendulum of education keeps swinging. But through it all, I hold one belief that has remained unchanged. Creativity fuels the future. Artists have the skills to generate ideas and transform them into reality. This is why the arts are essential to education and why the arts, both visual and performing, have such a profound impact on our students. The arts have and always will continue to promote academic excellence, to teach critical and creative thinking skills, and to support physical, social, and psychological well-being. Every child can find acceptance and develop empathy through the arts community. Every voice matters to us. I am so proud to be an art educator, and I deeply appreciate that you recognize the value of the work I have done. Thank you again for this honor.
I'm especially pleased to present our next Montgomery County Public Schools Staff Distinguished Service Award to Mr. Sean Pang. Mr. Pang was nominated by one of his students who wrote a very compelling application. I want to read you a little of her own words. Mr. Pang is one of the most outstanding teachers I have ever had the honor of being taught by. He makes himself available for his students day in and day out. At our school, Rockville High, he is the sponsor of so many initiatives, from the award-winning literary magazine club Echoes to Asian American Club, and most recently, the Fringes Initiative. This was a project that myself and Mr. Pang worked on together for over 6 months to establish a scholarship fund for low-income MCPS high school seniors going to college. Mr. Pang inspired me to start this project my sophomore year when I had him as a teacher. He told me I could change the world and that I had so much potential. During the next 6 months, he worked diligently with the student to uncover the hidden pockets of poverty in Montgomery County. They created a documentary called Fringes to highlight the struggles of people living on the fringes of this wealthy county. Mr. Pang was able to share the documentary and coordinate the scholarship, and together they raised $1,000 to give back. Mr. Pang's commitment and dedication to his students has made his school a more welcoming place. He has single-handedly fostered a community of togetherness at Rockville High School. Every day at lunch, his classroom is teeming with people because they know his room is a safe space to hang out in. In the halls, he is always ready with a smile to greet students. He always makes himself available for his students, and it is very heartwarming. I am honored to invite Mr. Sean Pang to the podium to accept his MCPS Staff Distinguished Service Award. And I seem to remember as well that you won the Agnes Meyer Outstanding Teacher Award. Was it maybe a year or two ago? So congratulations. Very nice.
Wow, thank you all so much for this honor. Every year around this time, I ask myself a question: is this worth it? And it's because every year it's always the same questions that's asked of me. For example, the Literary Arts magazine not too long ago just asked, Mr. Pang, we hit a little hitch and we need to do a little bit more work after school. Can you help us? It's just for a little bit, Mr. Pang. And me knowing a little bit never means a little bit, I said, all right. And then, Mr. Pang, I know this is the 3rd time we had to move your talent show, but you'll make it work, right? Okay. Mr. Pang, just last week, Mr. Pang, you'll dance with us for International night, right? You'll always dance for us, right? In which I replied, no, thank you. But I did it anyway. So I ask, is this worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Just last week, the Literary Arts magazine was one of 8 schools in the country to win the National Scholastic Press Association Pacemaker Award, which is wonderful. Our talent show fundraised over $4,000 to promote the journalism program at our school. And yeah, pretty cool. And International Day, one of the students who I knew has been battling depression for months, personally came up to me to make fun of me for my dancing. But that was the biggest smile I've seen her have in months. And so I know there are a lot of teachers here, a lot of individuals here who has gone the extra mile numerous times. And I know sometimes you might think, is this worth it? And sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but we never give up. And so I want to remind you, absolutely, yes, it's worth it. Thank you all so much.
Our final Montgomery County Public School Staff Distinguished Service Award goes to a recently retired MCPS counselor, Ms. Lori Turner. She was described as going the extra mile for many years at Earl B. Wood Middle School. Her upbeat nature, her love for students and community, and tireless work have made her school shine in a most unique way. She believed in her Woods Middle School kids, and her efforts still shine today as a beacon for all who enter. One specific example that her nominator felt was beyond the duties of the job was how Ms. Turner inspired and motivated students and staff alike. Ms. Turner and her daughter would find inspirational words and transform them into, motivational and art masterpieces that adorn Wood Middle School. These phrases, sayings, and quotes by great people in history are each lovingly hand-cut, letter by letter, from 2 or more layers of paper, creating a most striking effect. And our board can attest to that. We have met there at that school and seen that work. The words adorning the walls, accord with the staffs and volunteers, and a hallowed building every day. She and her family invested hours of tender, loving care into each handcrafted grouping of words is incredible. The fact that these words go on to inspire current and future Woodites is a rare gift indeed. Ms. Turner never sought recognition for this labor of love, and we are proud to honor her today with this prestigious award. Ms. Turner, I'm pleased to invite you to the podium to accept the MCPS Staff Distinguished Service Award.
I'm just going to pretend that you're all students, but I'm much more comfortable with that. If you'll close your eyes a second, it'll make me feel better anyway. Close your eyes and remember what it felt like to be in middle school. It was not fun. Oh, the drama that went with it. First, I want to thank you for this. It's very unexpected. All I did was cut out a lot of things with my husband's help. There were things that I thought that the students would really like, quotes that they would like and can connect to. Middle school is hard. I began collecting quotes long time ago, and so unbelievably was my husband did too. We together with two of our daughters actually who helped. There are over 400 in the building, so there isn't anywhere a student can go, even in the bathrooms, that they won't have a positive message about who they are.
And that's what I wanted to leave with all of them when I retired. So I miss it all, but you'll love retirement too. I'm not someone who likes the spotlight. I'm a behind the scenes person. But I really do thank you for this honor. Thank you. Oh my goodness, thank you.
The next Montgomery County Public School Staff Distinguished Service Award goes to Ms. Lola Rogers. Described as a go-to person at Watkins Mill High School, one of our hidden treasures and my neighborhood school, and compassionate, wickedly smart, positive, energetic, dedicated, creative, and absolutely hilarious. Ms. Rogers' nominator lauded her incredible commitment to their community. Ms. Rogers greets her students with warmth and humor, and they know she will go above and beyond to help them. She has brought clothes for her students and families and has delivered furniture to one of her homeless students. Her heart knows no boundaries. Outside the classroom, Ms. Rogers also runs the Youth Summit program that provides a fun, comprehensive environment for rising grade 9 students to find out about Watkins Mill High School. For the past 3 years, Ms. Rogers has been the coordinator of the Trawick Grant, a grant that she applied for and won, and we know Ms. Trawick now. This Youth Summit grant helps 100 incoming freshmen get started at Watkins Mill High School each year. During the summer, she plans for these students to go on, guess what, whitewater rafting trips and rock climbing. She lines up guest speakers and provides breakfast, lunch, and dinner with parents on the last day of the Youth Summit. During the school year, it is a daily program that emphasizes leadership, participation, and advocating for school and self. This $150,000 grant helps incoming freshmen by exposing them to upperclassmate support and adult mentors, along with exposing them to extracurricular events. Throughout the school year, she frequently checks up on her Youth Summit students and even has several more group outings. Ms. Rogers is an outside the box thinker, develops creative plans, and has the wherewithal to see them through. I am honored to invite Ms. Lola Rogers up to the podium to accept her MCPS Staff Distinguished Service Award.
I really want to thank everybody for this opportunity and this award. I want to tell you that I'm quite tired because with the Trawick grant today, I ended up climbing the wall all day with 20 peer leaders as they were learning the skills to belay the freshmen this summer. So it was like, I have to tell you, I'm pretty exhausted. And then when I got back to school, the Latino parents are meeting tonight, and we had food ready for them from our corporate sponsors and other donations we'd received from parents. So they will be going home, all of them with a giant box of food for their families. So I want to thank Carol Goddard for this opportunity to always do whatever my little head thinks of. And I appreciate that so very much. And just kind of a general note, I would like to share with the board that when you think about staffing and when you think about schools, you really want to also think about that equity and the same staffing for every school you really need to think about like what the needs are in schools and how you can best serve each school. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Our next School Service Volunteer Distinguished Service Award goes to Miss Joan Paul. Miss Paul has been a dedicated school volunteer for MCPS schools for more than 21 years. She has worked in 3 MCPS schools, Cloverly Elementary School, Sherwood Elementary School, and most recently, Belpre Elementary School. She has a particular love of the library, media center, mine too, and has dedicated many hours to shelving books, repairing books, laminating items for teachers, caring for the courtyard, and supporting the schools in any way that she could. Ms. Paul is currently the only consistent volunteer in the library media center. At every school she has volunteered at, she is known to the students as Grandma Paul, an endearing term which she has earned because she truly is everyone's grandma, believing all children can learn and excel. She is kind, patient, and very knowledgeable. Ms. Paul has an incredible can-do spirit and is a true model of a lifelong learner who believes in service to others. I am overjoyed to welcome Ms. Joan Paul to the podium to accept her School Service Volunteer Distinguished Service Award. You are welcome. We are so proud of you. Thank you.
Just don't fall. Oh, come on, behave. There we go. Ah. Thank you. Oh, of course. Oh, thank you.
Great. Okay, just put that right there.
Thank you, Valerie Board, for nominating me. Thanks to Miss Brooks, the principal at Belpre Elementary School, and her staff. They made me feel so welcome. And Board of Education, may I thank you for this honor and selecting me. As a retired middle school teacher, I always called them the cherubs, and they always wanted to know what was a cherub. But it gives me great joy to work with the children. I'm finishing year 26 at 4 different elementary schools, and I still go. Today I went to one of the schools. I didn't have enough to do. But I'd like to send out a challenge to this room. Sometime in your life, will you try to find an hour or more a week? Volunteer at some elementary school. The kindergartners and the first graders need you. They are the future. They need to learn to read. I had the opportunity, unfortunately, to serve in middle school where we had functional illiterates at the 7th grade level. And they'd misbehave because they couldn't perform. So let's do what we can for the children of our county.
Thank you. The Individual Pioneer Award is presented to an individual who has made extraordinary contributions in the past and whose impact has had a profound system-wide effect on Montgomery County Public Schools over the years. Dr. Marshall Greenblatt has not only contributed to the success of MCPS over the last 3 decades, but continues to do so today. The Marion Greenblatt Education Fund, founded by Dr. Greenblatt in honor of his late wife, Miss Marion Greenblatt, has grown from a small charity that recognized 1 MCPS teacher per year to a multifaceted effort that has awarded more than 100 MCPS teachers with roughly $100,000 in cash prizes. Beyond its teacher awards, the fund has supported MCPS in numerous other ways, including awarding more than $70,000 in prizes and scholarships for academic achievement to 500 plus MCPS students, creating a vital IT training program for MCPS students, and encouraging aspiring teachers. Beginning as an award to recognize 1 great MCPS teacher each year, Dr. Greenblatt has expanded those awards to 3 teachers every year. He created a separate award to honor more junior teachers who are rising stars to keep these exceptionally talented teachers in MCPS. However, Dr. Greenblatt's vision did not stop at recognizing great teachers. He also wanted to recognize academic achievement by students. With that in mind, he established the Marion Greenblatt Social Studies Award to recognize 1 junior at each MCPS high school for excellence in social studies, his late wife's teaching specialty. This award alone has honored hundreds of MCPS students for academic achievement. Dr. Greenblatt also co-founded a World Language Scholarship that awards at least 1 high school student a prize of $1,000 for outstanding performance in a foreign language. While this award started at Watkins Mill High School, it has now expanded throughout the county. Notably, Dr. Greenblatt has done and continues to do all of this as a volunteer. He has spent literally thousands of hours during the past 30 years creating the fund, soliciting nominations every year, receiving tens of thousands of pages of nominations, leading more than 100 award ceremonies at MCPS locations across the county, envisioning new awards and working with MCPS to turn those ideas into a reality, imagining a partnership with MCPS on the Teacher of the Year Awards, and spending the time to develop the process with MCPS, actively participating in the toy selections every year. Teacher of the Year, that's short for Teacher of the Year, and speaking at MCPS requests at numerous new teacher orientations. Dr. Marshall Greenblatt's actions during the past 30 years have had a profound impact on MCPS teachers and students. His creativity and boundless energy have inspired a full generation of MCPS teachers and students to achieve excellence. It is with great honor that I invite Dr. Greenblatt to the podium to accept the Individual Pioneer Distinguished Service Award.
Thank you to the Board of Education for this honor. 31 years ago yesterday, my wife, Dr. Marion Greenblatt, passed away. To honor her memory, my sons, who are sitting over there, and I started the Marion Greenblatt Fund. They're here with one of my 8 grandchildren who will keep this fund going for years. Our mission then and now is to put a spotlight on the excellent teachers and students in Montgomery County. Who was Marion Greenblatt? She was on the Board of Education for 8 years. There were very few women in the 70s on the Board of Education. The world has changed. She believed in no hooky. She didn't like frivolous courses. She thought that kids who took AP courses should get extra credit. So Miss Tataconda, if you have more than a 4.0 average, she should get a little credit as well as you. She thought the kids should have more books. There was a real book shortage in 1976. She changed that. She cut administrative costs. She even required that every student, K through 12, in every school in the county spend 15 minutes every day reading. Because if you have reading, you're on your way. For all that she did on the school board, she was really a teacher at heart. She was always an advocate for teachers, and that's why it seems so right for the Marion Fund to honor teachers. In the 31 years of the fund, we have chosen and honored 110 teachers, 545 students with $178,000 in awards for being excellent teachers, excellent social studies students, excellent foreign language students, and excellent University of Maryland aspiring teachers. What a fabulous group we have put the spotlight on. They are the cream of the crop, and it is one heck of a crop. It's actually ironic that I should be up here getting this award. The teachers are the ones who are doing the hard work. They're turning kindergartners into little human beings. They're taming middle school students. They're preparing high school students to go out into the world. They should be our focus. They should get our thanks. Not just the 110 teachers that we've honored, but all 13,000 teachers doing the most important work in this country, educating the next generation. And we should also remember the folks at Human Resources who hire them in the first place, and the principals who bring them along in the MCPS way, the Board of Education and the administration that sets a framework for making this an outstanding educational system that we citizens are the ones enjoying. So there's a lot of praise to go around, and for a good reason. We have an outstanding system, but it takes work to keep it great. The nation needs educated students more than ever. This was Marion Greenblatt's vision. It's our vision. Let's all keep at it. Thank you.
Our final award of the evening goes to the very deserving Mr. Mike Michelson. This Individual Pioneer Distinguished Service Award, as we just heard, is meant to honor someone who has had a profound impact on Montgomery County Public Schools. I could not think of a better way to describe Mr. Michelson. Mr. Mike Michelson was the Student Affairs Specialist for MCPS from 1958 to 1995. In that position, he mentored students from across the county and the state to encourage them to care about their education and to contribute to it by being involved in student activities, including the county student government organizations. He taught multiple generations of students how to effect change, from the student activists of the 1960s to the development of the student involvement policy and the Code of Student Rights and Responsibilities and enactment of legislation adding a student to the school board in the 1970s, to the direct election of the student board member and enactment of partial voting rights in the 1980s, to the first student members to exercise voting rights in the 1990s. As one of those student board members, I am personally appreciative of his efforts and his belief in the strength of our students. Montgomery County residents have been impressed by the consistent quality and good work of Montgomery County student leaders and its student members of the board. More than any other individual in the last 50 to 60 years, Mr. Michelson was responsible for creating an expectation that students should be involved in educational decisions and should speak out on their own behalf, but also needed to do their homework and know what they are talking about to effectively represent themselves to the school board and to other elected officials. That culture and expectation has now been passed along from one generation of students to another and has been an important part of leadership education in Montgomery County, and he is to be recognized for laying its groundwork. As Mr. Naiman, the first SMOB, said, quote, "He didn't lobby for us, but he taught us to lobby and advocate for ourselves." And Ms. Karen Crawford, who is a recipient of this award in 2009, she personally impacted me at the beginning of my journey, and she always talks about how Mr. Michelson's mentorship, really brought her to where she was. So, Mr. Michelson, it is my honor and my pleasure to present you this award tonight.
I will make this short and sweet, but I do want to get it on this thing. My first 15 years in Montgomery County Public Schools was at Blair. I always considered that I was working with the kids to get them ready to do what they saw as their issues. And once we got to that point, I just got out of the way and let them go. When they said 50 or 60 years, geez, can't possibly be. But it is. Over the years, many of these young people have grown into quite substantial individuals in the immediate community. There are a couple that are principals today. There's this little thing called Music Hall over that Elliot Fansdale had a great deal to do with. And Elliot and I have been friends since 1963 or 4 or something like that. The one thing that I learned early on was I needed to listen to the children. Well, they weren't such children, they were adolescents. And then go from there. It was not my student government, whether it was at the one at Blair or whether it was the county or whether it was the state. It was theirs, and they had to grow it and build it the way they saw fit. And over the years, there have been many, many successes. So I want to thank the board for this honor, and also I'd like to mention the fact that there are about 2 people in MCPS that I know today, and that's Pat and Judy Daca. And Judy and I worked together when she was it the Human Relations Department? We did a lot of work together during that period of time. So thank you very much.
Such a lovely event. I wanted to again congratulate all of our 2019 Distinguished Service Award honorees. Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you to their guests, to everyone else in the audience for coming tonight, to sharing this beautiful evening with us. And I think I can speak for the board members in saying it was just a pleasure to honor everyone, to hear the stories, to be here with you all tonight. Before you leave, on the table as you go out, there's a card that you could pick up, all the pictures that we've taken this evening. You can get them on the website. The website is on there. And the awardees at the same table, you can get the box for your awards, right? So at this time, this concludes our ceremony. And so if all the awardees will come to the front, we'll take a group picture. And have a good evening. Thank you.